Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast but didn't know where to start? Well, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor is your one-stop shop for podcasting. They have tools that you can edit, add music, all right from your phone or your computer. They'll even distribute your podcast so that it can be heard everywhere like Spotify, Apple, and even on Google. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Good morning, everybody. This is morning coffee.
It's time to pour it, stir it up, and serve it up. This is the Morning Coffee Podcast Show, your unofficial wake-up call. Here to help you live your best life and revolutionize your relationships, faith, inspiration, and love. Start your day the right way with Morning Coffee. Here's your host, Tanisha R. Atkins.
Good morning. You are tuned into the Morning Coffee Live Show. I'm the host, Tanisha R. Atkins, back with another great episode for you this morning. Well, as you know, Morning Coffee is your unofficial wake-up call on a mission to provoke you to change and spiritual growth so that you can live your best life and revolutionize your relationships. So that's who we are. That's what we do. Right now, we are in the middle of season 4. We're all season long. Our topic this season is we're all in this together. So this is your first time tuning in. Welcome over to Morning Coffee. If you are a return listener, one of my faithful followers, then welcome back over to the Morning Coffee Show this morning. This has been a great season. I have been enjoying and talking about and exploring the fact that we're really all in this together. The idea for this season is for you to help you to get to transform your mind from going from I and going to we, because sometimes we get so wrapped up in ourselves that we don't pay attention to the people around us, what they need, how we're affecting them, how's our behavior affecting them. And you can't treat people like that if you want to revolutionize your relationships. You have to genuinely care about people, and you have to express love to people and love them and express your love to them. And sometimes it requires you to speak their love language. So today we're going to follow suit. We've been talking about functional and dysfunctional families, organizations, whatever you're part of. You can have a dysfunctional work environment, but we're talking about that all today. And so I want to talk to you from the perspective of, I did some reading a little bit, and one of the things that stood out to me upon the reading, I like to read the Bible and check out, all the different things that happened, like Moses, Abraham, and just all the things that they went through, because I feel like there's so many hidden messages in there that we can use and apply to our life. So today I was doing some reading, and one in particular that stood out to me was Abraham and Lot. And I know I talked about them before on the show, so I'm going to keep it brief about them. But first of all, let me say it this way. If you want to keep dysfunction out of your organization, you have to watch it. You have to pay attention to what's going on. When people's moods and their attitudes and things like this start to change, we should not just ignore that. And I know you may say, well, if it's a problem, they just need to step up and say that something is wrong. And that's true too. But a lot of times people are not always vocal, and sometimes it's what they don't say. Everybody's not always an express yourself type of person outwardly. Some people express themselves inwardly, and then the outward, you see their attitude. And so be aware of that. If you're in a work environment and y'all are not flowing together, and usually y'all are, there's something that's happening. There's some dysfunction that's trying to come in there, and you have to, like my grandmother used to say, you have to identify it and nip it in the bud right away. That's how you're going to keep things flowing. And so what I actually want to talk about today is making a mountain out of a molehill. That's the title for today. So let's go back to Abraham and Lot, because I didn't set it up right. So Abraham and Lot, as you know, God told Abraham to leave where he was, leave his hometown, and not to bring a whole bunch of people with him. He just instructed him to leave. And so Abraham's nephew Lot came with him, and so they were traveling and they were doing what they were doing, and over time they both accumulated a lot of things, a lot of land, and a lot of herd and cattle and stuff like that. And so they both they even acquired like servants, people working with them, people working for them. And so as they were flowing, they were flowing together. They left where they were doing what God told them to do, moving about. They were growing because it's obedience. And when you do what God tells you to do, you're going to see increase like that, right? So they began to grow in land and cattle and in servants. Well, all of a sudden, some dysfunction tried to come in. Amongst their servants. And the Bible talks about how there's Abraham's servants and Lot's servants were kind of bickering with each other. And how many of you know that's the first sign of dysfunction, when you start to see bickering? So they started to bicker with each other. But what I love about it is that how Abraham handled the situation. Now, Abraham could have went to Lot and said, listen, you're going to have to do something with your servants because I let you come with me, and I could have left you back at home where you was. But Abraham didn't handle it like that because the Bible said that he loved Lot. So he came to Lot and said, look, there's a problem. There's a problem that's going on, and we're at that point where we can no longer dwell together because we both have accumulated so much stuff. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and take all the things that we have, the servants, the cattle, and all those things that we both need to kind of get in our own lanes to keep the peace. And I love that Abraham handled it like that, because sometimes to keep the dysfunction out, sometimes you have to not really dwell together like you normally would. Sometimes you can't always get together with the family all the time when there's a bunch of bickering, because you have to identify right here, this is our trouble spots. When we all get together, there's a lot of bickering, so this may not be safe for us to always do. But I love how Abraham handled it, because at that point they went from being functional to dysfunctional, trying to kick in, back to being functional, saying, okay, this is not working anymore, so we have to find what is going to work for our situation. And what was best for their situation was that they no longer needed to dwell in the same place. And I love it. And you just really need to go back. And I'm sorry, I did not remember what book that was in. It may have been Genesis, because I just a lot of times open the Bible and I'll just read everything. So I don't remember exactly what it is. But you can ask Google, where's the story of Abraham and Lot, and it'll take you right to it. But that's important, What Abraham basically did was he did not make a mountain out of a molehill. He handled it. That thing could have escalated and went a totally different way. Somebody has to be the bigger person. And at that moment, Abraham was the bigger person. Abraham was like, we are not about to do this because we love each other. And that's how you have to be with your family, with your team, with your organization, whatever you're a part of, wherever you are a team with people. That's how you have to do. You can't make a mountain out of a molehill if you want that team or that family or that organization to continue to function as one. The idea and the goal should be to function as one, not to tear each other apart. So you have to stay focused on that, moving together as one. We're better together. We're all in this together. Even though Abraham and Lot were not going to dwell together anymore, they were still family. And as you know, the story goes on and on. When they did separate, Lot ended up getting in trouble, and Abraham was able to still come to his rescue because he loved him. And how many of us do that with our family? We make mountains out of molehills. We fall out with them. And then when they get in trouble, they can't call us because we mad over some stuff that happened 2 and 3 years ago. That's not how it's supposed to be. If Abraham hadn't helped Lot out in a lot of situations, Lot would have been dead. So remember, this all goes back to the enemy's purpose. His purpose is to steal, to kill and to destroy. And that's what you have to stay focused on. Why is this dysfunction trying to happen in my family? Why is this chaos trying to come in my organization? Because he wants to tear down the very thing that God intends to build up. And you have to stop him. You have to be remember yourself. Remember that the Bible says he roams the earth to see who he can devour. So you have spent many years building up this corporation, or building up your family or organization, or building up your church team. Why would you let him come in and destroy it over something? Now, I know some things are big. I know some things, you have some family members or maybe even some employees that may really do some things that are against the family. And sometimes you have to make a decision on how to handle that. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying even in that, figure out what you need to do and do it without necessarily attacking them. Just handle it. If the situation is they need to be laid off, they need to be let go, whatever that situation is, you can't, you cause too much trouble, you cause fights in the family, so you're not going to be invited to the family gatherings. It's not personal, it's about protecting your peace and protecting your space, but that doesn't mean just because they can't come gather with you that you can't call and check on them and see how they're doing. So like I told you before, we have to check ourselves. And we're going to say we're all in this together. You are part of the all, and you have to check yourself. A lot of times we so quick to check other people. Like I said, Abraham could have checked Lot right there. He could have said, no, you don't get to say your servant's going to have to bow down to my servant. It's all about the attitude. Do you love your family or not? Do you love your job or not? Do you love your organization? You have to care and do everything out of love. Because the Bible said that love covers a multitude of sins. So that means that even though when people do wrong by you, you can still love them, address what they did, and handle the situation without going and telling everybody and blasting it out to everybody. This is what they did. And that is, so we're going to talk about that tomorrow, how gossip can really destroy a family. That is what we're going to talk about on tomorrow. Well, I hope that you enjoyed today's show. I want to keep it brief. I don't want to keep going on about it, but I do want to encourage you to go read the whole story about Abraham and Lot, and excuse me, just the whole book period. I believe it's in Genesis, actually. I think that is in Genesis or Exodus. It's right there at the beginning, because a lot of people, see, the thing is, I'm going to say this before I go. We are familiar with the different things that happen in the Bible. We're familiar with the timelines of things, but very rarely do we really get in there and dig out the meat and what God is really trying to say. Because you probably heard the story of Abraham a lot before and just said, oh, well, Abraham and Lot was about to get into it, so Abraham, yeah, they were doing that, but it was the way that Abraham handled it. He handled it from a place of love. And when you come from a place of love, the outcome is better. So that's all I got for you this morning. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Remember to check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram at Morning Coffee Live Show. And we're on Twitter now, and our Twitter handle is Start Your Day Off. So that's what we are on Twitter. You can follow us there. Send us a tweet. Let us know what you thought about today's show. Well, that's it, guys. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time. But have a great day. Meditate on the word. Meditate on the way Abraham handled it, and ask God to help you to come up with a solution like that for your family, whether it be to separate or whatever it is. Just like he gave Abraham that solution, he can give you a solution also. Well, have a great day. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Every day I wake up with purpose, starting my day with faith and inspiration. Wouldn't have it no other way. Live, laugh, love. Let's make the world better. Give somebody a hug. Let's bring the world back together. With morning coffee, let's have morning coffee. Morning coffee. Start your day with faith, inspiration, and love. Start your day with faith, inspiration,